Hello and welcome to another edition of Bowl Fast Talk Straight. I'm previewing the strengths, the weaknesses, and give you a prediction on where a team is going to finish in this World T20. Today is all about the big gun, and that's India. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Well, I'm flying solo today. There's a few technical issues with John Norman, so sorry he can't be with us talking about arguably the favourites for the tournament. A lot of teams, a lot of people are making England and India the favourites, and rightly so. And if you look at the strengths, well, the strengths are simple. They've got all bases covered. Literally, they've got a who's who. It is a magnificent squad. Look at that list from the very, very first man in Virat Kohli all the way through to Mohammad Shami. It's just a magnificent 15-man squad, especially with all the IPL stars, and they've just been playing the IPL and just finished the IPL. A lot of players have gone down to the wire and the in the latter stages. So how do you get there? Put it into strengths. Well, if you look at the top, the strengths right at the very, very outset. You look at the opening batting. Who do they pick that goes in first? Do they go with Virat Kohli, largely depending on himself? Does he want to bat first, or does he want to bat number 3? You've got Rahul, you've got Rohit Sharma, you've got Ishan Kishan, Suryakumar Yadav, whoever you feel as though India should pick. Get your questions in. Give me them. Ask them, because when you look at it, I don't think India have a poor option to go in first. They've got powerful middle order. They've got a crackerjack in Rishabh Pant, and they've got a bowling unit who can play in any situations. But for me, I would go with Rohit Sharma and Rahul at the top of the order. I think Virat Kohli will bat number 3. I think that gives them the most comfortable places in the batting unit. I think Rahul is used to opening the batting in T20. Rohit Sharma is the best opening batsman in T20 cricket, arguably in history, depending on which way you go with Chris Gayle. And the balance of the side with the Indian captain at number 3, who will be desperate to win the tournament because of it's going to be his swan song as Indian captain. So for me, that's the way I would go. The fixtures that India have got look very, very favourable when it comes to the back end of the group stages. Scotland, magnificent in the game yesterday to qualify 3 from 3. It'll not be an easy game, but a game that, back end of the group stages, they'll quite enjoy, both Scotland and India, and probably the last game will be against Ireland or another associate nation. So off to a flyer with Pakistan. What an occasion that's going to be. India against Pakistan always is a fantastic occasion. Question in India versus Pakistan awaited much. Is this a game play an important role? Which team will handle the pressure better? Well, what I would say to that question would be, I think both teams will be happy with their preparation at this moment in time. India, a lot of players have played in the IPL, and Pakistan, who you would have thought would have been a shambles because New Zealand pulled out just before England didn't go, but it gives their players a lot of their players a chance to play in the domestic Pakistan league. And I've seen some of the footage and the action that's gone with it. Babar Azam's been in quite good form. Afridi's been in quite good form. So you look at the Pakistan side. This is going to be a humdinger of a cricket match, and one that I think the world is waiting. Not just the people in India and Pakistan, the rivalry that comes with playing in global events now, because it's the only time that these two teams will ever meet. I think it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere inside the stadium out in the UAE, and I think the streets of India and Pakistan will be buzzing and desperate for this game to happen. So who handles the pressure? I would say India would probably handle the pressure better because they've got players who play under that extreme pressure more often. and are used to that pressure more often. But don't rule out Pakistan, because I think Pakistan are on their day a formidable side and will be a big, big team in this tournament. Which is more dangerous for India and Pakistan, batting or bowling? I think both sides have got very, very good characteristics in their units. I think Pakistan's bowling is a very, very strong unit. And I think it will largely come down to how the bowlers go against the opposition captain. If India's bowlers can knock over Babar Azam, I think then that's got a great chance of winning the game. Same if you can get Virat Kohli early from a Pakistan point of view, then that might just send a little few alarm bells around the Indian dressing room. But for me, I think that the team that probably does stand up better is probably India on paper. But like we've always said, sport, it's not played on paper, it's out on the surface. And the pressure that comes with being favourites, that might not help India going into a game against Pakistan. I think it will help them in the tournament. But the rivalry, the tension between two countries, I think that will weigh heavily as favourites on India. But look, we'll wait and see. It's going to be a fascinating game, and one I can't wait for. So when you look at where we go from the strengths point of view from India, I've got another question in there. I've just gone off my screen, so I'll get to that in a second. But Mr. Harmy, yes, thank you, Kirill. Who should pick between Hartik, Jadeja, and Thakur? Ooh, that's a great question. That is, Kirill. That is a great question. I think I'd try somehow and try and get Hartik and Jadeja in the side. And that is batting at 6 and 7. You're looking at what would my India team would be. I think I'd go with Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant, Ishan Kishan. Probably it'd be just before Pant, probably 4, and Rishabh Pant possibly 5. But I know in the warm-up game, Pant did bat at number 4, but I think that was because Rohit didn't play. And then I go with Hardik Pandya, possibly go with Jadeja, with the three seamers of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Shami, and Jasprit Bumrah, with Chahal as the other spin bowler. That would be my 11. But it comes down to where I feel as though India's weakness could be. And it's been said many, many times for me. India have got all bases covered. Whichever team you put out, you'd feel as though they can win because they've got in the shorter format. But sometimes India beat themselves, and that could be in the field, that could be in selection, picking the wrong side, picking the ego over who should be playing in form and everything that goes with it. So when it comes to weaknesses, there's not many there. I don't believe there's too many there when it comes to the weaker side of the Indian team. I think they've got a magnificent team. I think they've got a team that are ready to take on the tournament with Virat Kohli and give him the last chance to win another trophy as Indian captain. But I do sometimes feel the weaknesses in this India group, it's largely in the group itself, and whether the ego is parked at the gate as they go through onto the field, and they become a team of individuals and not a togetherness team. And you can get away with that for me at the shorter format. But sometimes it can backfire and could largely down to what side to pick and whether they pick the right bowling unit, whether they pick the right spinners. Our Ashwin played in the warm-up game. If they don't play Jadeja, if they get a surface where it probably goes an all-rounder, should be the seaman all-rounder in Thakur, or should it be the spinning all-rounder in whether it is Jadeja or Ashwin. So that, for me, is probably the only weakness in this India side. The batting is so strong. The game plans are fluid when it comes to they're constantly playing under high pressure and asking questions of themselves every single time they go out on the park because of the amount of people that are watching Indian, supporting the Indian cricket team. And for me, the only weakness that India have got is themselves. I do believe that where they're finishing this tournament will be top of the group. I think when it comes down to the group stage, you look at the fixtures. If they get off to a good start against Pakistan, I think they've definitely got too much for India, in my opinion. Definitely got too much for Afghanistan. Then they'll have a Scotland side who possibly could be out by then, who are just enjoying the occasion. And I think that could be great. And then they might finish with an Ireland or another associate nation. So then you've had two games where probably not as switched on going into what would be a semi-final, possibly against an Australia or a West Indies. And that could be the weakness of India, being able to go from that New Zealand game and then play Afghanistan, Scotland, and another associate nation at a sort of lower intensity. And then you have to fire up and get going again for the semi-final, which I would imagine would be against Australia or the West Indies. So that for me would be the weaknesses of the Indian side, which is not very much because they're a magnificent unit. And my prediction, where I think India will come in this tournament, well, I do believe they'll win the group. I do believe they'll get to the semi-final. I think they'll win the semi-final quite comfortably if they do play against an India or the West Indies. Against Australia or the West Indies. And then it will be probably England or Pakistan, in my opinion. And boy, I would love an England-India final, because I think this tournament is, the two favourites in the tournament are England and India. And I think that would be a fantastic cricket match. But I think the world is awaiting the India-Pakistan game. Two countries are awaiting, two sets of supporters. And I think the world is waiting. And I just wonder if the India tournament starts with Pakistan, it could possibly just finish with Pakistan, which would be in the final. And I think that would be an amazing tournament for the Indian cricket team. And if that happens, then I think India will win the tournament. If India play England, then there's a little bit more. I think there might be a bit more of a game on it. I want England to win, so I'm going to go India to be finalists and hope my boys in England will win it. Well, thanks for watching another preview show. It all starts tomorrow. Can't wait. India are going to play Pakistan. On Sunday, England start with the West Indies. Tomorrow, we will bring all the review talker points after the day's play tomorrow night. And again, if you got this far, please subscribe, leave a review. We'll answer your questions whenever we can, and enjoy the tournament. See you soon.